So welcome back to Divide and Conquer, and in a format that we haven't seen for quite some time, because this is of course a pre-record video as opposed to a stream, but due to technical difficulties the streaming, at least for the time being, is probably not going to be all that viable. And because the Erebor campaign was very much into its full swing really, we're entering in many ways the final phase of the game, the late game, where we've got all of our best units. I didn't want to wait much longer to carry on with this, to be honest with you, because it's actually been since the first half of December was the last time we actually saw any progress in this campaign. That's a little bit too long in my opinion. By the time this comes out it will be into February after all, so that's about 2 months where the Erebor campaign has been basically stationary and standing still. I didn't want to wait any longer, as much as I do like to do these campaigns on stream, because I think it's a little bit better of a format for Total War campaigns to be done there. For the Erebor campaign, at the very least, I do want to get it finished and do it in this format instead, so that it can actually make progress. We'll assess the situation after that to see if we can perhaps return to streaming for a campaign following this, which I've already made up my mind will probably be Bree, because it's one of the more well-developed factions with regards to its scripts and its interest and that sort of thing. And also it's very different to the campaigns we've played up to now. All three of the campaigns we've played up till now have been more high quality factions, whereas Bree is a little bit different. They're not the worst by any means, but they certainly can't rely on individual strength of units like the Erebor forces can. Speaking of which, we'll just go through the general state of play at the start of this for anyone who hasn't managed to catch the streams or watch the VODs and you're just coming in here for this for the first time really. We're on part 9, I believe, of the Erebor campaign. You can see it's actually gone quite well. We're at turn 118, and we command a rather large realm with the easternmost part of the map, including some holds of ours, and a very large section of the north also under our control, stemming from Erebor, which is very affluent, of course. And the two extremes of our realm pretty much are the eastern plains in Rhûn and Carn over here. So Angmar are pretty much gone. The only thing they have left is a singular army, which is their doomstack, which is currently besieging Mount Graham, which very soon we will be actually tackling them head on, because this is actually one of the reasons why I was so frustrated with the fact that this is where we left off in the campaign, is because this is a very pivotal moment really, because Angmar have got their doomstack over here. This is the last thing they have on the map. You can see that it is a pretty scary army as well. They have a general, they have Dark Blades, Guardians of Carn, plenty of Iron Crown units as well, which are obviously a little bit better than the regular. Doomstacks are not grossly overpowered, at least for the most part, so they do still have a lot of their basic stuff here. But it's a tough army to bring down this, so it is going to be interesting to behold. And the Angmar force as well is one that we will have to deal with on our own, but we do fortunately have two armies that we can bring over. We've got Gimli's son over here in Darim, who is going to be attacking from the rear, while Gimli himself is in Mount Graham, so you can see here. Pretty decent little general this, considering he's only been a part of 2 battles up to this point, I think. And then of course we have Gimli himself, who was responsible for Angmar's downfall, and Gundobad's downfall actually. As you can tell, the Battle of Gundobad early on in the campaign was probably the decisive moment, to be honest with you. It allowed our early expansion to be very swift and aggressive without getting pushed back, and the Gundobad Doomstack was not able to retake Mount Gundobad from Gimli. A very exciting battle to say the least, but we shall see if Gimli is able to hold on to his life as the army does besiege. And we don't have much money because we have made a bit of a point of spending quite a lot of our cash up to this point, but a lot of our settlements are very well developed at this point and we are raking in a lot of money. But to be fair, a lot of it is also going on upkeep. We have a little army down here in this fort, in and amongst the Anduin Vale lands, because we did actually hold on to Goblin Town over here, which I renamed to Brodor's Pass, because that's someone who donates quite regularly on my live streams. We lost that in the end because of a counter-attack from Angmar, but then Anduin Vale were the ones who took it back. The main danger on the map at the moment is Isengard. Isengard hold on to Karas Galadon. They are pushing. Khazad-dûm are reasonably strong though. They did beat the Goblins of Moria. So between Khazad-dûm and a reasonably strong Anduin Vale, and also a very strong Mirkwood, who have also managed to push Dol Guldur all the way back pretty much to Amon-Lank itself, we should be fine. But if need be, if we do need to swing into action and give a little bit of help down here, we can do so with an army like this, which is fairly decent. At the very least, it will be able to go toe-to-toe with quite a lot of the more basic Isengard stacks. It's only really if we're going up against a full stack of infantry and pikes that this might struggle in terms of numbers, but we shall see. Finally, before we get down to brass tacks, we also hold on to the One Ring. This man here, Dor, Conqueror of Mistrand, holds the One Ring, so we are going to be over here. Gollum is following us around, which is a problem. But we do have the One Ring, so we're going to be trying to take that to Mordor, going the long way around because we're Erebor and we're going to be at war with Rhûn, and we're pushing down this way. It's the easiest way. We'll just go around the back. It's a long way for Dor to travel, but there is Mount Doom. We have it in our sights. The ring script is one of those things where I'm not really the biggest fan of, to be honest with you, because there are certain things where it wasn't really... You can tell that it's a fairly old script, to be honest, based on some of the stipulations that it comes with, and I would kind of like to see the Divide and Conquer team put their own slant on it, but I can see why they haven't, because they want to add new stuff rather than going over old bits and pieces. But like I said, there are 2 decisive moments to come in pretty much the same turn, because this is the Runic doomstack, which is besieging Mistrand, their previous capital, which is currently held by Dale, who launched a naval invasion of Mistrand. We actually held onto it for a moment, but we had to abandon it because we did push a little bit too far. That was where the ring was, and we just basically rushed it down and then abandoned it, and Rhûn took it back. But Dale then took Mistrand. Rhûn is struggling because Dorwinian are here, Dale are here, and of course we are also here. So we're going to fight this one first, because this was what we were going to do on stream before I had to abandon it. This army here is the scariest army we have in existence at the moment. Plenty of high tier units, including King Dane Ironfoot himself. We will get a little bit of support from Dale in this battle as well, which is obviously very nice. Good force this though. They've got 2 units of Inas Rim, they've got plenty of Cav, which of course we don't have access to, but ultimately when it comes down to the melee slog, we are going to be far superior to them. And we also have that catapult as well, which will force them into range, so they can't just poke and prod at us with their lower tier archers and their mid tier archers forever. And of course the Dalian force is going to be coming in from behind to attack as well. I don't know what sort of units Dale have. I mean, this isn't a brilliant army, to be brutally honest. They've got Athala Rangers, which are decent, Longbowmen, which are okay. It's not the best army, that, but we just need them to be sort of an annoyance in behind, and we will do most of the heavy lifting in this particular battle. But yes, it's good to be doing the campaign, to be honest with you, because I have wanted to do them, but the issues I've had with the streams at this point are the issues I thought I would have when I was first getting into it, and I was very surprised actually that it wasn't the case, but it seems to be striking back with a vengeance now, unfortunately, the state of the internet where I am. Hopefully we'll be able to get back to it soon enough, but for the time being, because of how advanced this campaign was, I didn't want to leave it any longer. And if it turns out that the streaming thing is not really too viable for the foreseeable future, then we will reassess how we can move forward with that. So we'll have plenty of axemen on the flank. We've actually got a ton of axemen. Might actually be a good idea to have them be our front line, to be honest with you, because they will do a ton of damage against Rhûn. Even the Flag Rim won't do too well against them. Rhûn, of course, with their armour piercing as the game wears on, are a potential issue. We also have plenty of King's Shields. I don't really want to put Dane on the flank if I can help it, but after all, getting charged by Inas Rim is something which could prove to be a little bit problematic. But we will have some spears at the back, right at the core as well, or towards the back we'll have Dane and the other unit of Sons of the Fallen. We've got plenty of ranged presence as well with the catapult, which hopefully we can use a bit of the grape shot in this environment. Right, we also have 2 halberds, don't we? I believe. Or did we lose one of them earlier on? I think we did actually, didn't we? Interesting. Well, we do have some Iron Fist hammers, we have some Dragon Slayers, also some Blacklock Engineers, which are a fantastic unit of crossbows. I think only Ered Luin have got a better unit of crossbows. We'll go through the looks of the units in just a moment after all. Yeah, we'll push these guys forward in just a second. The Stiff-Beard Archers are kind of average. Iron Guard as well, who will be there in the middle. King's Shields, King's Shields. The Halberds. The Halberds are not... Oh, there they are. Yeah, we've got another unit of Halberds. The Halberds, to be brutally honest, are not great for Erebor. Their stats are a little bit lower than they should be, but they can still be useful for the phalanx that they offer, and they are still AP. I think they only have 5 attack though, which... yeah, 5 attack, which is not brilliant considering they're upgraded and such, but yes indeed. Just have a little look. This is something we don't often do on the stream because it's just something that we carry on with pretty quickly. King's Axes upgraded with the sort of the Gimli-esque double-headed axe. The unupgraded version, which I think I actually do prefer at least the axe model that the unupgraded version have. I'm always a fan. I'm not really a fan of like the bilateral headed axes in general, but like the hexagonal armor. Heavy infantry is of course what we're all about. Arguably the best unit that we have really are the Dragon Slayers because they're an armor piercing, tanky line infantry unit, and we don't have too many of them. Other than that though, Iron Fist Hammers, the Oricani, very nice to have them. They've got a very low charge I think, but the dwarves in general don't have the best charges because they're so slow, so it's not really too much of a problem. The Dwarven Catapult, and then of course the Blacklocks. Right, let's see what we can accomplish here then. Let's go for some Flaming Shot. Right, I think we will actually pull forward with a couple of those units. In fact, we will pull forward with some King's Shields as well because they're going to be coming around the flank here. And we'll push up a little bit with our archers. Ah yes, that's a good point, isn't it? We have the Grape Shot. Yes, I see. Ah yes, we've got the Daelian Cavalry, which I forgot to move, but fortunately cavalry, less of an issue. We will be engaging in some nuke box-esque tactics. Grape Shot going to be doing its thing. In fact, we will turn down the speed a little bit because we will be able to actually have a little look at what the Grape Shot is actually capable of. Blacklock Engineers, of course, are going to do absolutely devastating damage as well, I would imagine. Having a quick look at the Runic Force as well, just to see what they've got going on. The Flag Rim is actually unupgraded, you can tell. They don't have the bulkier model, which they are more well known for in the vanilla version of the game and Reforged. Right, one thing that we definitely need to do as well is get Dale being a little bit more aggressive, so they get into battle as quickly as they possibly can. The Dale Cavalry has probably actually been the single most impressive unit in terms of outperforming. Right, yeah, this is going to do pretty devastating damage, I would imagine. Grape Shot going to be too strong for them. I can also actually layer on the music I usually use in multiplayer battles. I can use the same for this now. Right, okay. We don't want to get too close. We want to make sure that we order the charge, the general charge for our units fairly quickly. It may be, though, that they do end up electing to retreat. Now that Dale are on the field, the AI might think, oh, maybe we don't want to just charge in completely unthinkingly, but of course by turning their backs on our units here we're going to be able to use our ranged prowess. And this is an army we do want to be preserving the lives of as many of them as we possibly can, because this is an army we're going to need to push into Mordor with, guarding the ring bearer that we have. They are going to turn around. They may end up clattering into Dale actually, which would be fairly... I mean, they're going to do quite a lot of damage if they do that, so let's try and pull forward. There's no way around it though. The Dwarven style is slow and plodding at best. Not the most reactive faction in the world. Yeah, they're going to try and go after Dale, I think, aren't they? Okay, we'll go into defensive stance then, Dale. Like I said, this is pretty much the death knell for Rhûn. Unlike Angmar, they do actually have some territories left, so we will have to push through some of their towns still, but this really is the only danger they now pose, because there's no way they'll be able to build an army like this again. Especially not with Dale holding onto their capital. Right, okay, we're going to have to move forward a little bit more quickly, unfortunately. Let's pull forward and try and get into range with some of our units, because otherwise Dale is going to get crushed. I don't really care, if I'm being brutally honest. To be honest, I wanted to retake Mistrand, and Dale launched a very sneaky naval invasion when I wasn't looking. So they'll be able to hold on regardless anyway. And if they don't, we can actually double back and take this round. What have we there? That's Dale cavalry unit. We'll push up with our cav. What have we got there? That is Arulad Dragon Riders. Okay, so yeah, they're coming back for us now. Halt. Yeah, get after them. Okay, so they're turning around again, which is not completely unexpected. Maybe a little bit frustrating. The AI really does have a tendency to do this. They always tend to be able to catch you at the most ill-opportune moment, but fortunately we just stopped that charge. Right, you get into ranks there. Fire at the flag rim, they're going to get absolutely dominated. Blacklocks are firing. Erebor, Dale cavalry, so that's ours. We need to definitely make sure we're keeping our shape. Yeah, they're broken. Get after them. Let's just pause it for a second and see what the general state of play is. The halberds are back here, but that's not really the most important thing. They've also split their attention, so yeah, now Dale can be aggressive. Right, let's... We'll charge forward with our axes at this point and get our elite units in as support. But we will, I think... You can go over there like so. Or the Iron Guard, that's the Iron Guard. You go in the middle. Dragon Slayers... Yeah, you're a little bit further ahead of the curve, so you don't charge in just for the moment. Okay. Right. Keep moving backwards. Erebor, Dale Cav, that's Dale Cavalry over there. We can find some gaps at this point. King's Shields. I mean, these are decent spears, but to be fair as well, the Innis Rim are a very good cavalry unit. One of the very best, in fact. Let's turn it down to 0.4 speed. The Balchoth tries and trying to get into play. They would have actually done a little bit of damage, I suppose, to some of our units, but King's Axes and Iron Guard will really not spare anything in melee. You go over there. Yeah, they are actually getting some hits. That's a bit of a shame. Blacklocks, you move backwards. King's Axes are getting in there. You go over there. The King's Shields are being engaged. Ooh, Innis Rim. That is our cavalry. But if we can pin them in place for those Sons of the Fallen to do the business, I will be just fine with that. That'll be all fine and dandy. Halberds are going to move up. Halberd, you go over that side just in case the Cav does elect to come this way. You can just be reservists. Dale Cavalry getting in there. Sons of the Fallen will make quicker work of the Innis Rim. And just in general, our units are going to be too strong. Too strong for theirs. And this is where the added survivability of our infantry should come into play as well, because we won't take as many losses, I would not have thought. As soon as our fatigue dips, we'll use King Dane's special ability. You can see here though, the Innis Rim holding up reasonably well against what is a good unit of spears as well. The King's Shields they're not the best spears we have, the Sons of the Fallen are, but certainly most cavalry would have died off more quickly than this, but the Innis Rim of course have got that real beefiness to them. Right, you shoot the... actually yeah, both of you shoot the Dragon Riders, they'll probably try and go around us. And you, we will actually get off of fire at will. King's Axes in behind enemy lines, Balchoth Tribesmen, so that means we can pull through with the Iron Guard as well. And these King's Axes can... actually, yeah, you can just keep moving forwards like so as well. Those Dragon Riders probably won't last too much longer. The Sons of the Fallen are getting into melee, and that will probably be the end of them. We're going to lose a lot of our cavalry here, which is not the most important thing, to be honest with you. It can be a little bit of a pain when we come to run down units, but much better that than them getting into something like our catapult. the Arulad, which are getting shredded up very nicely. His King's Axes are taking a bit of damage as well. Hopefully we can heal up. We don't have the healer trait on King Dane, unfortunately, but he's, in all other aspects, really, he's a superb general. Daratai Hunters. They're really suffering under the weight of our units at this point. Yeah, get into them. They're not going to last much longer anyway. You two can actually go this way. One unit of spears can actually go around the back, I think. Yeah, those Innis Rim did not last very long at all under the attentions of the Sons of the Fallen. What are Dale doing? I mean, Dale have moved forward. They are winning, but they will have taken a little bit more in the way of losses. Rivermen doing their thing. Need to go after the Nar Rim, I think. Right, we're going to keep the Dale cavalry back so they don't take any more damage. Flank around as well, because the Guildsmen are good. Very good unit, actually. The true sign that it's a doomstack when a struggling faction can field so many units that are actually pretty damn good. But this will be the end of them. After them. And you don't need to make any more efforts there. King's Shields go after those Baltroth tribesmen. Yeah, those Arulad. I'm surprised they're not broken yet, actually, these Arulad Dragon Guard. They're going up against very strong units, although... No, there isn't really anything else over here, is there? Thought maybe they'd actually done some good work against some King's Axes for a second then, but that isn't really the case. Push forward against those Nar Rim. Here we go. Forwards on all fronts. Now we'll increase the fatigue of our units. Defeat seems certain now for them. Lost a few King's Axes, but that's to be expected. Like, you can't really get away with facing a doomstack and taking virtually no losses unless you're a faction like the Elves. That's one thing I've learned as the Dwarves, because you have to get into melee. Some casualties are always inevitable. Fire at will as well. There's no need to risk friendly fire at this stage in proceedings. Yeah, go after them. Actually, Dane can surround these guildsmen, I think. Having that catapult is also very nice. You are at the mercy in the early game of only having access to Stiff-Beard archers as your ranged contingent. Last thing we need is Dane dying, but he shouldn't in a situation like this. I don't know where the enemy general is. He's over fighting the Dalians, apparently. Nar Rim. Broken. Where are they then? Ah, right, he's in, yes, the Loke Rim Bodyguard. Bit of an awkward unit to face that. In fact, that's the sort of thing that I will want to bring my Black Blocks forward for, I think. They are very capable of doing a bit of damage in melee. There we go. Victorious all round. What is that? King's Shields pursuing. They're a little bit far away, but we do want to see if we can run some of these boys down. This will prevent Rhûn from recovering, though, I think. Between Dorwinion and Dale, they'll be able to hold on to the spits of land south of the Sea of Rhûn, and we can deal with the far eastern reaches. Something I have also considered is we may come into contact with Khand, who have remained loyal to Mordor. Right, this is a little bit questionable from Dale. Going after Loke Rim Bodyguard with their Dale cavalry, throwing these brave fighting men under the bus. What is the healthiest unit of this bunch? Probably those Baltroth. Don't know if we're going to catch them, to be honest with you, but we'll give it a bloody good go. Dragon Slayers have taken no losses. Iron Guard. Iron Fist Hammers took a couple, but hopefully we can heal them up. Getting reinforcements to the armies this far east is a slow process, which is why I need to try and be as efficient as I possibly can. If I was going to go, I could probably do with a couple more units of the Blacklocks, to be honest with you. I mean, they may kill, yeah, they're going to kill these guys off. Northman Militia, of all things. Pulling out their axes that would be better suited for chopping wood, but there we go. If they do end up killing off all of that cavalry, we will be in position, hopefully, with some Blacklocks. Send forward some helpers, just in case they manage to squeeze forward as well. I think this is probably going to be the end, though. Yeah, there it is. Continue. Do want to run down as much as I can. To this Arulad. Don't think there's much. Ah, wait a minute. Flag in. Actually, you know what? You can shoot them, can't you? No need to get into melee. There goes the general too. Very good work from Dale. Natural allies. Done well in this campaign. It's always nice when your near neighbour allies do nicely. And Dale have done just fine. As have Mirkwood, in fact. I think the Anduin Vale have only done well because of the dominating performance we put on against Gundabad, to be honest with you. Otherwise their expansion would have been a little bit more dubious. And Mirkwood also took a lot of the heat off of them from Dol Guldur. And that's that. So they're leaving. So where are these boys? That doesn't matter at this point. It's done with. Yeah, good performances from all of our King's units. They were the ones in the fray. Iron Fist Hammers did well as well. They took a little bit of damage. Casualties healed. I don't think none of the Iron Fist Hammers healed, which is a bit unfortunate. Quite a lot of the Dalian Cavalry did, though, which is good. It means we'll still have a unit fit for running others down. So we shall continue. Good. That's pretty much Rhûn's last gasp. We caused that doomstack to spawn, I think, by... It wasn't taking Mistrand, it was actually taking something else that caused that doomstack to spawn. That Dalian support was useful, though. Otherwise, that would have been a little bit more... We would have still won 1-1, but it would have been a little bit more awkward. Especially with the AI electing to split their force. Exactly the sort of thing we want to be seeing. Something else I think as well, we should take a look at the alliances, because if I'm not mistaken, it's been a while since I played this campaign, as I said. If I'm not mistaken, Mordor have... Yeah, we're executing them. Unless I'm very much mistaken, I think Mordor have really done some strange things with their alliances. Like they broke the alliance with a lot of people. I think it was Khand and Harad. Was it not? Yeah, because look, Harad, the Aradanaim, and probably Khand as well. Yeah, look, Khand are actually at war with Mordor, which is very bizarre because the script, as it worked, they didn't take the Blue Wizard's bargain. They stayed loyal to Mordor. So they got Inquisitor Ankatar's stack and everything. But for some reason now they're at war. The longer the campaign goes on, the more weird things happen like this. But 118 turns in isn't a huge amount of time. Not the amount of time where really weird stuff starts kicking in, but very strange that, very strange. But it makes Mordor and this whole area weaker to us. We might even be able to get like some deals going with the Variags, potentially anyway. What sort of army is that? Nothing really. I mean, we wanted to be going this way, which I think we will go and double back now, because Dale aren't going to lose anything here. Lest, you can see, is very much fortified, but between Dale and Dorwinion, like, Rhûn should not be able to recover from this situation. If they do, I'll be quite disappointed in their performance. Right. These boys, what else have we got going on? So we do have units that we can send southward bound. You can see all of these Durin's Guard, which are were the result of me purchasing a town off of someone, and I ended up getting a bunch of Durin's Guard for some reason that was never properly explained. But we were leaving these units here so that our ring bearer, which is he's still a long way off if we're being honest, he will be able to pick up a decent army as he comes through. Right, we'll save. Save after every big battle. We've not been completely clean of crashes after all. But yes, we will go back down this way. It's more important, I think, that we go over to this territory over here that Rhûn still hold and take it for ourselves. That'll be very nice. Rhûn will then really not be able to recover, I think, because they just have that one strong town in Lest. They won't be able to do much. This, though, is going to be a more difficult battle because this is a doomstack, but my armies on this occasion are a little bit less suited. But I think what we will do, we'll probably end up fighting on the Mount Graham map, because what I will do is I'll let the AI control this army. And there are some good stuff in here, like Sons of the Fallen and Iron Guard, which the AI will probably end up wasting, but I would rather control this army, if I'm honest, because there's a lot more archers, and the AI will almost certainly make a complete mess of doing that. We do have some units in Khan Doom as well, but they're too far away, really, to be utilised effectively. With Angmar pretty much on their last legs, one thing that I'm going to do as well is actually get our most expensive units that we've got over here and garrison them, so that we're saving a bit of cash, because that is, considering the amount of high tier units we actually have on the field at this stage, that is, God, that dwarf is so ugly, the Conqueror of Khan Doom. Poor guy. Right, and it is probably this unit of Mattocks, isn't it? Possibly those stiff-beard archers. So we'll go for a unit of archers, just in case a roaming army decides to attack a unit of archers on the defence. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Bit of free upkeep there. That guy's just in on his own. They're all fine. Okay, enough beating about the bush. This force, we attack. Withdraw from that fight, and then we shall attack out of the settlement. Right, so they've... Okay, that's frustrating. I guess we'll have to attack. We'll have to control the army that I didn't really want to, but maybe this is for the best. I mean, we've got access to a catapult and a ballista. We should still be fine. Hopefully Gimli doesn't throw himself away. This is always... I want to command... Yeah, I guess I can command these units, and we can filter in the reinforcements as and when we need them. Okay. This one is going to be more difficult. They have less ranged dangers, Angmar. Well, I'd say that. They've got one unit of Dark Blades, but in melee, Rudar Huskars, Iron Crown Guardians, they've got some strong stuff. The blessing, I suppose, is that their weak stuff is not really going to be up to the task of doing much of anything. Thralls. Right. We have got a rather nice hill, I must say. And they will be very tempted to come after us, I think. They'll probably deploy down there. Right. Let's see what we can do here. This is like the first time we've been able to utilise... We've got some Dwarven Travellers, 10 of them. That was a mercenary unit. Right. So we've got spears, which we'll use these lads in reserve, because there are Guardians of Khan Doom, which are a very frightening unit, actually. Right, the flank. Ooh, we can hide there, that's nice. We will do that, I think. They can just sit here and fire at will. Ideally, I'd want to get up onto that ridge over there, but I don't think they're going to allow me to do that. They're going to be far more mobile than I am. So I think it's probably best if we just sit and wait, to be honest. Right, you can go there just in case they try to go that way. And then we have our two very important units, our two elites, which we shall put here for the time being. Right, that is... Right, yeah, we'll probably... Those are Wargs and those are the Guardians of Khan Doom, so yeah, the spears are going to have to go over here. Yeah, this is quite nice though. them firing as they will. What are they actually going after? Just go after what you can hit. Jesus, you're going to hit your own artillery piece, aren't you? Interesting to see how they actually can get up here, because sometimes in DAC I've noticed more so. Go into aggressive stance, get over here and give me a hand, would you? Some of the units are going over there to try and take on Gimli and co, which is fine. As long as they split themselves up in the way they have, our artillery over here will be enough to handle whatever they throw at us. Yeah, go after those. You go after the dark blades. Right. Let's reveal our hand. It's a bit of a shame, I think that was a cancelled shot. After the dark blades though. Right, okay, let's just consider the situation. You go there. You go there, and the other unit of Mattocks, which is slightly in behind, can go up there. The spears can form just a little defensive block. Sons of the Fallen, I think the Iron Guard would probably be better against them actually. Sons of the Fallen, you can sort of stay here as a more defensive action in case that cavalry decides to come up here. And I think that'll do. Right. Angmar infantry, yeah, like we should be fine, that's the thing. Like if they're sending across these units, stuff like Gimli, King's Shields, a lot of this is archers, which is kind of awkward. The AI will probably end up wasting quite a few of them, but those are Iron Crown warriors, which we will need our more elite units to actually go after them. Right, yeah. Mattocks. Yeah, they're trying to go after the catapult crew, but we can get them to leave. Right, that's a bit of a pisser, if I'm being honest. Get you lot back here to try and shoot at them. Yeah, I have a real tendency of doing that. Right, can we not be in melee with them, please? The trolls are coming over here as well. Really love going after the thrown projectiles as well. I think it's because of the missile damage. I think the AI weights that very heavily when considering what targets to go after. But all of their elite stuff actually is over here, which means Gimli's army should be blowing through most of the low end stuff. So yeah, victory is something of an inevitability. There are the Iron Guard going after Iron Crown warriors. Right, those Mattocks should be going after them. They're taking a lot of damage. Guardians of Kharn-Dûm. Can we hit them, perhaps? I'd like to be able to turn the Sons of the Fallen around, but with Iron Crown Warriors on the case, I wouldn't want to. You are in melee with them, which I'm not entirely certain why. Yes, I would certainly hope so. This is not brilliant. But, I mean, we should be fine. We're going to take a lot of losses in Darim's poor army here. I think we're going to do a lot of damage to our own units by trying to hit them. Right, yeah, they're leaving now. I think they recognise their folly. Go there. And it's risky to shoot in there, but I think we will do it. Because the damage we can do potentially against those trolls is just going to be too good to pass up. They're coming back again. Let's see if we can't get into... I mean, this should be point blank, right? Or it would be if we weren't getting stun-locked by the enemy archers. Iron Crown Warriors. There's more Rûdar Savages on the way forward, which is... That's a lot of friendly fire, but that's a lot of dead trolls, right? No more of that, though. That was sufficient for our purposes. Now shoot those Angmar archers. Shoot at them if you can. We're really losing Erebor infantry at a fair old rate, but that's fine. Ah, right, yeah, that's a good point. We need to be not in. There's a lot of damage done to those Angmar archers. Grape Shot is really, really deadly, which is good. Rûdar Savages will lose to the Iron Guard over a longer period of time. This will save us a little bit of... Right, this is mostly enemy... Actually, no, there's a decent amount of our units still there. Good, good, good. Dark Blades heading over to the other side of the map. What happened to the... There they are, right. Yeah, go after them. Try and hit them with the Ballistae. This one unit of Iron Crown Warriors is stubbornly holding on to their lives. Trolls are coming across. Right. The time has come for us to get into position over here and potentially try and hit the Guardians of Khârn Dûm as they cycle out. Yeah, we're going to win that fight now because we have the numbers advantage without the trolls there. Iron Crown Warriors doing their best. Medieval 2 Siege. You love to see it. What are you doing? Poor unit of Erebor infantry. Let's see if we can't hit them now. We might end up losing our general here to the trolls. Trolls are uncomfortably strong in DAC. What is Gimli doing? He's messing around an awful lot over here. Quality of these, like he's been up against thralls and the like. What happened to the... Oh right, the Guardians of Khârn Dûm are leaving. Very well. Okay, another troll over here. Our general should be okay. He's a fairly seasoned warrior. And I think this is him as well. Yeah, it is. So he's out on the periphery of the engagement. What happened to those Angmar archers? Oh, they're going back over there. Okay. Well, we will be victorious over here after a while. Guardians of Khârn Dûm are on the way up here, which is interesting. If they were to go up against anything, I would want it to be Sons of the Fallen. Unfortunately, they are going to get a fairly decent charge on my Durin's Guard. Durin's Guard should be able to give as good as they get in melee, though. Right. See if we can't get our Erebor Axe Throwers into position as well. A very messy fight, this. Right, you go over there. Yep, I kind of figured that was coming. That's the danger of using Grape Shot, but who cares? It's frustrating when artillery kills your own units. So one of Gimli's sons, anyway, I think he's got two, falls on the battlefield after being perforated at close range by an incompetent artillery crew. But it's better than losing Gimli himself, who is a unique general with many more stars. God, trolls are really frustrating to deal with as well. Like, I expect shock infantry and stuff like high tier infantry to be able to kill trolls quickly. It's my reforged experience speaking to me, but at the very least, like they broke as well, like very soon after that. I mean, we may as well at this stage just charge the General's bodyguard across because we're going to end up losing that, which means we will actually end up losing a governor as well for Litash. unfortunate, but to be fair, we've not lost many generals in this campaign in the grand scheme of things, so the odd loss here and there is fine. I don't like campaigns that go too cleanly. It ends up being a little boring. And it was my own fault for not having the catapult cancel its fire at will. I think this is his dead body, isn't it not? Yeah, there it is. Right through the head. This one troll surrounded by damaging infantry. So you would expect it to fall, but it's probably just going to pull away, and that will be the end of that. Kill it. Right, they're routing. Don't really know what is left, to be honest, but Gimli's army almost certainly made a right mess of themselves against the easier wing of the army as well, but such is the life of the AI. Gimli himself should still be alright, at the very least. Where is he? Should be able to pick him out. There he is, wielding his two-handed axe with just the one hand. See, like, look at this one troll that's already bloodied up, surrounded by Durin's Guard and Mattocks, and it took that long to kill it. No, we will continue, I think. Try and kill off a few more of them, because I really don't want to have to chase anything down if I can help it. Right, let's not fire in with artillery anymore, because you are bound to hit Gimli. Gimli's army can do a little bit more damage in so much as it is able, mainly with its archers. Most of these archers are very basic, but good for holding on to Mount Graham. We don't really need to hold on to Mount Graham too much anymore though, because it's completely safe, surrounded by Ered Luin, Northern Dunedain and my own territories. That will do. Yeah. We did end up losing Darim though. A sad loss. To be fair, he may very well have ended up getting charged by the Guardians of Khan Doom had I not been shooting him with the grape shot anyway, because he was on the side where the cavalry would have been charging in, so who knows. Losses abound. There we go. Angmar defeated. A noble death for Darim. Though the people are grief-stricken to hear of this dwarf's grisly demise in battle. Yeah, it would have been grisly. That close to grape shot. His bravery in the face of death has served as a final act of nobility. One that is sure to see his name etched into the annals of history. We can hope. We can hope. Right, Litash. Can we get some of these units back? We can. Okay. We need to make sure that Litash is at least happy. Plenty of units. That's... Let's see here. This lot, you can all go back to Litash. You can all come in here, and that gives us kind of a full stack, albeit a lot of these units are quite depleted. But we're not even getting anything in terms of free upkeep over here at this stage. We will keep these units up and about. We will start moving some of them into forts, however, when we are able. In fact, we'll do that with these four now. They'll go into that fort in the pass between Gundabad and Litash. There's another fort over here that we can utilise as well, but we'll start worrying about that later. Yeah, you're on the way down there. Some more Sons of the Fallen, another unit of Mattocks. That'll make this army pretty strong indeed. Give us plenty in terms of... Well, it'll be enough to take on Isengard stacks, especially if I just intend to be in support of Mirkwood and the Anduin Vale, to be honest. I'm not personally going to push down here unless Isengard take Khazad-dûm, in which case that will be added to the victory conditions, so to speak, of the campaign, where we will need to retake Khazad-dûm from Saruman. But I think it'll probably be alright. That's not brilliant, but like, we've got the High Elves, the Northern Dunedain should be strong. Fenestruin's under siege, but they should be able to do the business there. The goblins apparently still have territories, but that will just be over here. Between the Dunedain and the High Elves and everything. Like, Dunland is still up and about, but for how much longer I'm not sure. And I think, yeah, that is it for this turn, so we will save, naturally. And then we'll pass the turn. Hopefully as well we can start to get the Ring Bearer really motoring along this way. Because bringing Mordor down will, you know, make the Free People's victory in Middle-earth kind of inevitable, even though Isengard are probably scarily strong at this point, with Rohan's complete destruction. Enedwaith, I think, have been completely destroyed, but as soon as Isengard, we saw this in the Lothlorien campaign, where Isengard, they got massive, but then when they started running up against having too many enemies, ourselves as Lothlorien included, they kind of overextended themselves. I mean, if they have Dunland as an ally and Dunland get big, maybe it'll be a different story, so they've got a little bit of support and they don't need to do it all on their own, but they're definitely the biggest threat at this point, Isengard. Mordor, because they lost their allies and the fact that we will rapidly be coming at them with the ring. The last stand of the Bree land. With the peaceful existence of the men of Bree and the hobbits of the Shire being brought to the edge of utter ruin and destruction, it falls to all men and hobbits alike to take up arms in defence of their homes and way of life. A gathering of all kinds of men and professions take up what arms and armour are available to them, hunters and lumbermen from the forests, farmers and sheriffs of the Shire, and the merchants and townsfolk of Bree itself answer the call. These men of peace and prosperity may not have been among the nations accustomed to warfare, but with their coin they have gathered some arms over the years, which are readily handed out to any brave enough to use it. The smiths open their stores of axes and hooks, knives and pans. Lacking training but armed with the tools of their trade, these people will fight for their homes and their very existence with the bravery of those who have nowhere else to run. So Bree are struggling under the weight of Dunland, I think, which is interesting because the Northern Dunedain are doing quite well at this point, so yeah, you can see that Bree itself has actually fallen to Dunland. The Northern Dunedain not doing a particularly good job of defending the poor folk of Bree, considering Angmar have been on the run for a long time thanks to ourselves and Ered Luin. Yeah, we'll save as well. Crashing has more of an impact when you're pre-recording because you have to completely reset everything when you're done, so hopefully that won't be occurring. Right, let's go this way. Fornost Orion still under Bree. Yeah, Dunland are pretty strong, so maybe Isengard and Dunland are a threat. A genuine threat. Right, you lot get in there. We want, to be fair, we're making money again now, which is marvellous to see. Right. Units that don't have free upkeep. Sort of these three will do. Again, there is another fort there as well, to be honest. Right, so we'll get another few units out from here. You lot start heading over there. Again, it's not an exercise, not being precise about this really, just a bit of extra free upkeep would be nice. Construction complete of an Oricani Clown Hall in Mount Gundabad. Not really terribly useful, to be honest with you, at this point. We do have more recruitment being done though. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Now that we don't have a governor for Latash, it's on military build policy. I'll keep that heavy armour being built though, because that does give a little bit of stiff-beard archers. We do have dragon slayers. I'll tell you what, we'll buy another unit of dragon slayers because I think Dane's Halls is the only place we can actually get dragon slayers. Healer's Hall. Nothing else we really need. At this point in time, we've got most of our settlements to have as good of an economy as they're going to get without upgrading some of them to the next level, and some of them are of course maximum level already. Captain Fundin heading down to Rhubar. You're heading up to Fel Kazash because it needs a governor. You are heading to Rhubar as well. That's where we're going to be mustering the army of the Ringbearer, as it will henceforth be known. But yes, Angmar and Rhûn, well, I mean Angmar have been destroyed at this point. Save it again. Yeah, they're not going to be able to take Mistrand with that. What are you doing? Embarrassing scenes. Runic Diplomat. Could do with some more units coming down here, I suppose. Bit of a reinforcement column just in case. What have we got in here? Right, so if we move, let's say, 4 units south, we can send 4 units out as support, as reinforcements. Could do 4 units of Durin's Guard, but yeah, I mean that's a lot, isn't it? That's a lot of upkeep that we could save by potentially picking up a fort along the way. So we will go southward with them. We could take that fort, but it's in Dale's lands. There is an army in there, however. But it's a really poor army, isn't it? Actually, no, it's not. It's actually a decent little force. Okay. Well, with that in mind, let's send up a couple more units just in case they decide to ambush. So this bunch, you can go down here. Anything else we want? I suppose they could do with a ranged unit, couldn't they? Yeah, sure. We'll get the Dwarven Travellers to go with them as well. Very basic as an archer goes, but I'd like to go southward into this territory here, but there's no great rush because the Ring Bearer is still far away. Right, let's just siege them down. We will maintain the siege. That's the glory of having a little bit of extra time to consider. It's just a unit getting free upkeep over there, which is fine. Other than that, there's not really much else to be doing at this stage other than gathering all of these units to the fort. We could march south, I suppose, and I do want this, like, I have been playing these campaigns with a little bit of like lore friendliness in mind, not just painting the map domination. So if we were to take Carrascaladon, I think I would probably give it away to Mirkwood. Yeah, I think that's what we would probably end up doing. Other than that, I think we are good to continue. It would be nice as well, actually, to get these this fort, I suppose, just because I don't think having a fort in Dalian land will affect our relations with them too much. We'll see, though. Yeah, they're running. Gondor I don't think are completely dead yet either, which is interesting. I think Mordor, like, shattering their alliances and declaring war on Khand has probably slowed them a little bit. I'd still expect Mordor to defeat Khand, though at this point in the game Mordor are often such a powerhouse industrially. Especially, yeah, well, I say that, the Steward of Gondor is dead, and they do have Gondor's heartland, so they really are motoring along. Mission failed. Yeah, we're not making friends with Isengard at all. Ironmongers in a couple of places, that'll give us a little bit of extra cash. Got some retraining going on, faction announcements, another family member, and a retinue. The retinue of Borgo expands. Yeah, look, Isengard are really dominating in terms of the top faction lists. Yeah, you go in there. Right, you into Felkazash. Can we actually build anything useful in here? Because this is the sort of place where we probably still do have potentially some money makers. The answer is a solid no. How lovely. Dalian boat. We've got fairground under construction there. Skarn is just a village, so we're just waiting on that. Building roads here. We actually do have some stuff we can build in this town, I'm pretty sure, including an Oricani clan hall, which really wouldn't go amiss. Makes sense that we can build the Oricani here. We're closest to the Red Mountains in the east. Right, I know that this is automatic, but what is that? Oh, it's just a door. Thought it was like an Angmar spy for a second, and I was like, what on earth is he doing all the way over here? What's going on there? You into that fort there. You into that fort there. We've got a lot of cash at this point, which we could use to prop factions up, to be fair. Right then. So yeah, this is pretty much our full force. We've got a catapult. We don't have much in the way of ranged units. We've got a unit of axe throwers, I think, other than that catapult. But melee-wise, we're doing very well. And we've got plenty of armor piercing in there as well. So we could go south, and We do probably need to start putting a dent in Isengard, to be honest with you, otherwise our brethren in the south at Khazad-dûm will probably start to struggle under the sheer weight of numbers. The goblins are coming back as well, which I'm really surprised, honestly, that the High Elves have not cleaned the goblins out of this area at least. Like, this far into the campaign, the goblins should be getting absolutely dusted by Elrond and Glorfindel and all those gentlemen. Gentle elves. Let's see. Yeah, they can just stay here. That's not an awful lot of upkeep. So many of those units are depleted after all. Can we build anything in Mount Graham that's actually handy? Yeah, we can actually. A great market. So we will do that. Latash, we're already building something there. Khan Doom, building culture stuff. I think Mount Gundabad is already mostly fully developed outside of stuff that isn't terribly useful to us anymore. It's not really a recruitment province, this. The only thing we recruit from here are the Mighty Hammers, which are so far away from anything of note at this point other than possibly Isengard in the south that even that's not terribly handy. Nothing there for Rakyaberg, Dane's Halls, we're building a great miners' hall. Roads. Erebor is almost completely upgraded in terms of money, which is the only thing these settlements back here really need at this point. Okay, enough of this trying to sidestep the issue. We shall fight for this fort. Probably end up actually, because this is a fort, it's probably better to automatically resolve this. Yeah, 41 losses. Not an awful lot. Forts can be one of those awkward little things. We can't get into that fort just yet, so tell you what, we could, I mean, that's what, 7 units, so we could leave 7 units behind. So Dane will leave the fort, of course, and then we could leave behind the slightly depleted Axemen. We'll leave behind that 1 spear unit as well, because they're a little bit more depleted. So that'll be 3 more units, basically. Actually, you know, we don't really need the halberds. The halberds are not terribly useful, all things considered. And I think that's it. Is it not? Oh, we got one unit too many. Okay. So we'll just do it next turn. Well, no, actually we can do it this way around, can't we? No, we can't. Okay, we'll just have to do it next turn. The intricacies of Medieval 2, you love to see it. Okay, another passing of the turn. So frustrating to have all of our recruitments so far away. But we should be fine enough. And it might do us to actually just build up a bunch of money anyway. So we'll pass the turn. Maybe the Bree doomstack can stall Dunland's progress. We can only hope. That's an Ered Luin diplomat. I actually think our relations with Dunland aren't that bad, because I do think we actually have a trade agreement with them. My thinking behind that was the Dunlanders are just sort of like misguided hillmen, so the dwarves probably wouldn't be above trading with them at least. Don't know what the Dunlanders would actually have that the dwarves would want. Maybe livestock and meat, that sort of thing. Be interesting to see what we can do about Canned. Fornost assaulted, that's interesting. I wonder who that would be. We could probably go and have a look at that actually with one of our spies. Dol Amroth diminishes. Ever was it foretold that the departure of the swans from the haven of Dol Amroth would signal its downfall. That day has come. Belfalas is now a bleak land littered with the dead soldiers of Dol Amroth. Their outposts burning, their royal line in tatters. The blood of the elves is all but spent, and the men of Dol Amroth are now weak and grim peoples. Far from the feared knights they used to be, ships of the Swan now call the bed of the great sea home, and the great white and blue banners of the once proud princedom no longer decorate the halls of Dor and Ernil. There seems to be no way back for the armies and royal line of Dol Amroth. Yeah, not great. Dol Guldur, no, not forming relations with Dol Guldur. We've got roads in a couple of places, which is marvellous. We've got more family members and retinues expanding. Mordor's population is now the greatest, so they're probably pushing into... hostilities cease between Dol Amroth and the Haradrim tribes. I think that's because Dol Amroth are gone. I still don't know how we're not actually being crusaded by Mordor. I assume it's because they broke their alliance with Rhûn, because they never broke their alliance with Angmar. Right. Do we need another unit of archers in here? Probably not, to be honest with you, so... You lot go in there. This one unit can hang out in this fort, and we shall now edge our way forwards. Okay. Nothing there for the moment. This force keeps moving southward. At some stage, the ring bearer may very well get down here and we can start marching towards Mordor, because detonating Mordor will have a really interesting effect on the game state, actually. It'll probably help, more than anything, the allies that they've scorned, people like the Aradanaim, Harad and Khand, which is probably preferable to orcs, to be fair. So we can't complain too much, I don't think. Right, you lot in there. Yeah, we're really making money now, which is good. Right. We could wait for a couple more units. I don't really see the point, though. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll have a little look around, see if we can recruit any of the really high-end stuff. Over here we can't, because the culture is still not sufficient. Khan Doom, we're getting there. Still not quite good enough, though. A few more turns until the hammers. Got some Dragon Slayers on the way. We could get some Iron Guard. That wouldn't be too bad. Blacklocks wouldn't be too bad either. This is a real recruitment hub for us Danes Halls. In fact, yeah, you know what? We'll dump a bunch of money into some elite stuff, and that can be a potential reinforcement column that we send south. Faluk u Ozadul, Hammer of the Wicked, as it is called. What should we get from here? Halberds are just not sufficient, really, so we'll go for a unit of Iron Guard and leave it at that. Almost done with Great Roads. Right, this was where we were building a building before, wasn't it? So potentially culture is what we want, isn't it? And that's our culture building. Because I think with an Oricani clan hall, this could prove to be a neat little recruitment hub for us. So we'll go for a brewery there. And Nazanar was the other one. I don't think there's much else we can do here, though, because we built this to be a recruitment hub previously. We'll go for a Hall of Aule. It'll give us a little bit of extra cash. It's probably a waste, to be honest with you. It'll take it ages to pay back itself, but maybe we'll build more units there. And then it will prove to be a sound investment. So I think we've already moved you this turn. So yeah, what we will do, we'll start poking our head southward, I think, with this army. It's not completely full, but it's strong enough to deal with most little Isengard stacks that are likely to be down here. This is Balin, the Poundland version of Balin. The real Balin is still alive and kicking, successful as he was in his efforts against the goblins of Moria. We shall end the turn. Dol Amroth is still alive, apparently, which is impressive in its own right, but I would assume it's the Aradanaim that are taking them on, because when we were having a little look down there, the Aradanaim were the ones that were really pushing in the south. They were doing very well for themselves. And as the game gets later, of course, the Aradanaim late game units are also good, so you can't rely on quality of units to dig you out like you can often see with the High Elves and the Goblins. There's a fair few runic boys moving around the map, but hopefully we can take away a bit more of their strength. Hopefully we're moving through a runic territory as well, and it's not accidentally a Candish one, otherwise we're probably making ourselves unreliable, and that would be a disaster at this point in time. Another Steward of Gondor is dead, so yeah, Gondor and Dol Amroth are pretty much done at this point. Western Moria retaken. Goblins and orcs alike poured the halls of Moria and all the settlements nearby like water seeping into a cave. Their enemies were surprised by this unforgiving assault, the goblins screaming their vengeance in the name of their chieftain. Their curved swords and crude axes have cut down their enemies with brutality, and some are even feasting on their dead bodies. The experiences of those who survived the onslaught will affect them for the rest of their lives. Not good. Some great roads, great miners' halls, good stuff. Unit recruitment, dragon slayers, excellent. Isengard. Khazad-dûm are also up there though. Faction destroyed, Gondor. Lothlorien are gone as well, although I thought Lothlorien were already destroyed, to be honest with you, so it must have just been individual stacks running around. Right, I think we have, yes, a diplomat. We're going to move him over here, ready to interact with Thranduil, because it is my intent that we blitz down this area. I think that, so that's Erui. I don't know if the Anduin actually hold on to Erui or not. So the goblins have taken that back, but apparently Khazad-dûm are still doing quite well economically, so they should take that back. My concern would be if they get sandwiched between the goblins and Isengard. Right, other than that, we are pretty much good. So they've moved south. Other than that, it's all eastern stuff. The Conqueror of Mistrand. That dwarven map movement. I don't quite know how long we've actually got to deliver the ring there, but suffice it to say, if it gets down to like the last few turns, I will pick him up and console command move him close enough, not directly there, but close, because that's my main complaint with the script, to be honest with you. It gives you a woefully small amount of time to actually accomplish your goals with the ring. Like, if the ring appears over here and you take it, you've got to get it back to Rivendell in 20 turns, which is completely unrealistic. One of the shortcomings of the script, to be sure. Right, what have we got going on over here? I don't know where the town is over in this province, to be honest, which is proving to be a little bit of an awkward thing. Are we even heading the right way? Must be down here somewhere, right? There it is, okay. Ooh, that's actually a pretty strong little runic force. We'll see if he comes for us. We will be able to defeat him. The quality of our units is simply too strong for Rhûn unless they're fielding really powerful armies, which I don't think they have the ability to at this stage. But that's not bad. It's not bad, honestly, to the point where could probably do with these boys coming down here, ready to make up for any gaps in the army that will probably appear as a result of that. We'll see. I mean, also there's a decent garrison in there as well. Remarkable scenes from Rhûn. Still holding on for dear life. Dorwinion really need to get a shift on here. It might be, honestly, that Rhûn have taken this like area that Dorwinion normally hold, and that's why they're still alive, even though a lot of their eastern provinces have been gutted by ourselves and Dale. Not beyond the realms of possibility, I suppose. Okay, well, we'll see what they decide to do here. Interesting indeed. Mataram. I think this is the last territory though before we can start chipping away at Mordor. No, actually, look, you can see there's a Dorwinian border there. So Rhûn must literally have 2 towns left. This one and the one that we're approaching. Possibly that fort up near Dorwinian's lands as well. But yes, our alliance has been a real powerhouse actually. Ourselves, Mirkwood, Dale and Dorwinion. I suppose you can count Anduin in that as well. Angmar are apparently still alive.
Let us try words and not war for a change.
No.
Very well. It was just another proposition for data.
I don't know where their final armies are, but wherever they may be, they can roam around until the end of time, as far as I'm concerned. Hopefully the Dunedain can hunt down whatever. Maybe they have a territory left in the north. A suitable husband for Hindler. He's actually pretty good. For a starting general anyway. I've seen far worse. Proper morals. Nerves of outsiders like any good dwarf. Yeah. Marvellous scenes. Oh, he's down. Oh, he's in Dane's halls as well, which is actually pretty good. We can actually send him over to Latash so he can govern that settlement. You love to see it. Right. Let's see. Yeah, they're going to get reinforcements as well, which is kind of scary. Frustrating. With the way that Medieval 2 works as well, the fact that you, in a situation like that, if you have multiple stacks, you have to give the AI control of like one of them. It's not even something that you can engage really efficiently. Great Miners' Hall, Fairground and Rhubarb, actually that's pretty good. That means we can build something else here. Probably a brewery, right? Yeah. Need more culture over in this part of the map. Recruitment reports, marriage celebrations between Freris and Hindler, our new general. Right, first things first, we're going to move this guy to see what's what. Ooh, yeah, look, they've taken Erui. So what we'll do is we'll go right onto the border. Because we can't actually make it to Erui this turn. But we will be able to next turn when we get all of our movement. So we can strike them. Erui is probably the sort of territory we could probably get away with holding for ourselves as well. Or we could potentially give it to our Khazad-dûm brethren, which I'm leaning more towards that, because at this point in time, at this point in the game, we don't need another territory like this. Khazad-dûm, however, it would be really, really useful if they were to really get on their feet and be another thorn in Isengard's side for later. So I'm leaning more in that direction, to be honest. This, though, is going to be interesting, isn't it? Because the infantry is not good enough, though, which is really what's leading me to believe we can actually take this on. And this is the Loka Khan, Rukar. So, yeah, he's strong, and there is also another general in the settlement as well. Plenty of bits and pieces here. This is a lot of enemy soldiers, but while we are the attackers, they will probably be tempted to come and attack us, to be honest with you. Okay. Let's see what Dane can do. This is going to be out on the open field as well. If this was in a settlement, I wouldn't do it, because as much as you can abuse the enemy AI, the towers, and also the time limit in a situation like this would be really awkward. Probably will turn the time limits off, to be honest with you, because as much as they can actually force the AI into making a move when you're on the defense, when you're on the attack, especially as the dwarves, it can be horrid, really, as the time limits. Right, this is a bit more open than I was perhaps hoping, but grape shots for that damage. Right, they're probably going to be coming from this direction, aren't they? So we'll probably set up over here. What happened to the Durin's Guard? Why is there only 39 of them? Oh, of course, they're a bodyguard unit. I thought, yeah, I was like, what a fool I am. But they are individually quite strong, which is good. They can be a nice little supporting front line to a main front line, which will be made up of King's Axe over on either flank. Right, they can go there like so. Yeah, this is really just going to come down to sheer strength at arms, I think. Iron Hill's mattocks in behind. The spears need to be on the flank because they're almost certainly going to try and get around. This is actually where the halberdiers would have probably been quite useful. What a clown I am for not having brought them. And then we've got our elites, which the Sons of the Fallen we will have at the back, just in case the cavalry manages to get all the way around. And then we have our really elite stuff, which again, against stuff like Daratai clansmen, but on this occasion we can't really afford to be sloppy. They're coming from that direction, are they? Bit of a pain in the arse that, but no matter. Spears on that side. Spears can go over here as well. The stakes will defend them from the front well enough. You can actually go over there as well, because I think what we'll do is we'll have axes over on that side. As soon as they get in range, they're going to get a cold reception from our grape shot. There's a lot of units coming in from the rear. But hopefully we can clean up this army first and foremost. The AI will probably get really overconfident, seeing the odds in their favour in this manner. Cavalry's going to have to be used defensively here, because Rhûn are going to have the beating of us on horseback by such a long way. I think we will actually put the mattocks just in behind these units over here, and then we'll be pushing up in waves. It's all going to be about quality. Firing now. That should be enough to do plenty of damage. Ooh, Candish Raiders? I don't think so. And they're not going to do much damage from the front, to be brutally honest. They might do a little bit more damage from the rear. Where are we? Where? Yeah, there they are. King's Axes. You just retreat. Shoot at them if you please. Yeah, this is a little bit frustrating actually. Just the catapult on its own is not really enough to ensure ranged superiority in the way that I would have wanted. Okay. But we can catch out a lot of their ranged units here, and they will be absolutely garbage in melee. So we have that going for us at least. And we can counter skirmish with our own archers as well, who should do a decent enough job. A lot of ranged units actually, which is kind of interesting. Villain's Guard can move up. The Iron Fist Hammers can start getting ready to go as well. Those are Dragon Riders, which we really need to deal with, to be honest with you, and we shall do so with our spears. This needs to be a half-speed job, to be honest. The Dragon Riders are no Inas Rim, so that should be fine. Wow, that is, again, a perfect angle. Ugh, so frustrating. Bloody Rhûn, they should be dead already. Yeah, well, at least we've got plenty of reinforcements on the way forwards. Yeah, these two are we're gonna need these two on the front line. Fire at that, would you? Yeah, at the very least they stand no chance whatsoever in melee. Dragon Slayers, you can actually go around this way. You're going to need to retreat because they are just absolutely peppering you with that ballista. Charge into them, would you? What's going on here? Cell swords? Oh. Yeah, they're going to get ruined by some spears and some dragon slayers, so I can't complain too much. So annoying to see my artillery incompetent. It's the ranged units I am concerned about here, because as much as our armour will mitigate a lot of damage, this is how they will ultimately... Yeah, that cavalry wants to charge in so bad, but if it does, it's going to go right into some Sons of the Fallen. You love to see it. Alright, they're going to go... Yeah, Jesus. No, you're going to have to turn around and shoot at them. See if we can coax them into the stakes, maybe? I could have sworn that was the unit that was introduced to the business end of the spears, and yet they're still perfectly fine. Right, no, you're not engaging with them. We need to get you around. Right, well, yeah, the front line fight is clearly going in our favour. Good. Dane can deal with them. They're going to get a shot off. They do. They're not brilliant in melee either, the Black Box. What are you doing? This kind of incompetence is not what I expect from my Dwarven legions. Getting behind enemy lines, we need to get more units on this front line, to be honest with you, especially after our spears incompetently decided to leave. But yeah, the Iron Guard should be enough to halt proceedings there. Get into those Dragon Riders. An enemy catapult, which is less than stellar. We should win that fight. There's a large amount of runic troops there. It's going to come down to how well we can do here on this front line. The ballista is still reforming, messing around a little bit. Perhaps what we can do instead is go after some enemy units. I'm not entirely sure what they were hoping to accomplish there. Are they going after my general? No, they're going after my archers, which I'm perfectly fine with. They are a significantly more disposable unit than most everything else. Right. We're warmed up. This ability does, in the long run, Stubbornness of Dwarves, actually reduce fatigue, so I want to be using it when most of our units start to become winded. More than anything. Far Rhûn mercs are going to move to try and flank around. The Durin's Guard are not taking many losses at all, which is what you'd expect. Like, if it comes down to brass tacks in melee, like, we really should be easily able to come out on top here. What can we do with our catapults? Dragon Riders. Are we going to hit? Yes, good. That was a big hit as well. Marvellous. It's only on Daratai Clansmen, but you know what, actually? Go after those Candish Hunters. Probably more of a threat in melee as well as at range, to be honest. Right, we're losing now because there's Lokeren Bodyguard on the front line. I think maybe it's time we reposition our archers a little bit so we can start shooting into units such as that. Those Candish Hunters hopefully will break. We're losing on that flank as well. We really need our crossbows to be freed up. Unfortunately, however, these Dragon Riders are just refusing to die. I know we're on half speed, but it always is remarkable how enemy units have a real tendency to just sort of hold on indefinitely. They're retreating from the front line now a little bit though. Not entirely sure what's going on there. Again, questionable scenes. Those Candish Raiders really, again, like, the fact they haven't broken even though there's 6 of them and they're going up against Sons of the Fallen, I think is questionable. Personally. Go on, good hit. There we go, centre mass into the Candish Hunters. I would want to go after these Lokrin Bodyguard, honestly, but the risk is too great, because if I hit my own men, considering the number... Well, actually, you know what? Sod it, we'll go after that one, because this part of the line is looking pretty thick for them. This wing is a little bit more questionable, but the Iron Guard are holding it down like absolute champions. Go over there. Worst case scenario, we pull the Arulad Dragon Guard off the front. Right, are they finally dead? Like, can we like actually deal with them, please? There's literally 2 of them remaining. That frontline fight is just like, that is where we earn our keep. Right, we're going to go this way with our Black Locks. Dale Cavalry pursuing the 1 Arulad Dragon Guard off. They can go this way. We're going to get a good hit. There we go, that's a nice hit. As is that. Mercenaries, we've got Enemy General Fallen, which might have been as a direct result of that. Probably going to see those Arulad Dragon Guard go after the archers, to be honest with you, which is a bit annoying, but Candish Raiders. Look at this though. Iron Guard in formation, doing their thing. The Iron Fist Hammers as well, damaging. Maybe we will. Ooh. Yeah, you go that way. Get out of range of that bloody ballista again. Actually, you know what? Go after those. It's tempting to go. No, because we're winning that fight now. Oh boy. Actually, no, that's fine. I thought they were going after my crossbows then, but they're not. They're just going after my archers, which I'm far more okay with. Right, I think at this stage, yeah, we're winded, so we'll increase our fatigue. Back to being decent. Those Arulad hopefully won't last too long, but... Ooh. That's Dane's unit, so I mean they will regenerate after this, but only if Dane himself lives to see the end of the battle. Yeah, we're going to be hitting these Candish Hunters. Decent hits, more damage done at the very least. Front line still looking a little bit suspect. As soon as those crossbows get into a nice position, we should be good. If Rhûn's infantry in this occasion was decent, they would have won this fight. But fortunately for us, like this, I suppose, is why they've got such a big army. It's because they're padding it with so much junk. And it's 3 generals and a few units of like armor-piercing infantry, which is really holding things together. Oof. Good damage. Nearly out of ammo in our flaming shot, though. Okay, yeah, let's retreat from that. Shoot at them, if you please. Ugh, the formations that the units take up in this, I swear. Not often you see the dwarves try and kite people, but maybe it's possible. Jesus, that's grape shot. Okay. No. Okay, we only have grape shot remaining. So what we're going to do is we're going to put you back over here and take you off fire at will, just in case you decide to take complete leave of your senses. We just need to get them into a position where we can hit them in the side. They're going to try and go through there, but we've got that locked down by the looks of things. The front line fight going very nicely. Yeah, we're going to win. It's just a case of damage mitigation. Hopefully they keep chasing the Stiffbeards and don't elect to change targets to the Blacklocks. Right, Dane is, or should be, I mean, come on. Right. I swear that cavalry is just too resilient to spears. Right, the Lokrin bodyguard will do much better against the Iron Guard. We can't rely on artillery support now, but those Dragon Slayers have probably taken a heavy toll on the runic forces as they are. Okay, yeah, so... Right, we're going to have to get into melee and just shoot into their backs. Like, the Stiffbeards won't like being in melee with them at all, but what are you going to do, right? Good shots in the back with those Blacklocks should be enough to deal with them. And Stiffbeard Archers as well, probably one of the more easily replaceable units with the Oricani clan halls we can build reasonably nearby. Same can be said about the Iron Fist Hammers if we can develop our lands quickly enough. That artillery's trying to do something useful, but Balthashot Spearmen are not going to have the attack to burn through our units, not even slightly. Get some of those Mattocks off the front line. Darutai Clansmen, they're actually a really poor unit in Divide and Conquer. Even in class, even as they are as like a really basic unit, they're just not very good. We might end up losing these Blacklocks, but again, Oricani unit, perhaps more easily replaceable than most. Let's get them into place, get this catapult in, maybe we can try and go after some of those Candish hunters with the Grape Shot. Sons of the Fallen are a very resilient unit as well. Is that right? Those Iron Fist Hammers as well have just burnt a hole through the runic infantry over here as well. It really does go to show the quality discrepancy between entry-level Easterling units and Tier 3 Dwarven infantry. The difference really is night and day. These 3 units of Durin's Guard have really earned their keep as well. A real nice freebie. They left, I think, so yeah. Right, let's get you... Stop it. It's risky to fire Grape Shot this close, but he's going to try and snipe out Dane. Point blank arrow fire and... Point blank Grape Shot, honestly, will probably be enough to do horrid, horrid damage to them. Yeah, look at that, look. That is what you like to see. Another one going to fire? Need to know if it's safe to actually commit Dane to this fight. Oof, that's not good. Okay. Dane can continue to run around doing his thing. Iron Hills Mattocks, King's Axes. After them. Yeah, they do have the edge in terms of manoeuvrability. Poor Blacklocks have just taken so much damage from artillery fire, it's unbelievable. Right, now I really don't want to be using Grape Shot because chances are we'll be, well, we can use it on them, I suppose. What's going on back there? More cavalry making a nuisance of itself. Just keep firing over there. We'll have to trust in Dane. Lokrin Bodyguard is not to be taken lightly, so he could end up dying there, but we don't really have a choice. He's going to get caught anyway. Dwarven speed is so shockingly poor that what we'll get. I'm half tempted, honestly, to just get... Look at this, though. Look at the actual state of this. We are going to shoot point blank, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. Which is actually quite necessary, because the Sons of the Fallen will lose this fight. Might even need to get these Stiffbeards into melee, to be honest with you, to interrupt some of these... well, Where is Dane himself? Oh, he's at the back. Okay, we're good. We're on guard mode, so we should be... Wow, this is actually really antagonizing. Just die. It's all over for you. Let's get you... Can't even support Dane with any of our units because of these annoying little pockets of resistance. Sure, we'll get over there. He's got hit points enough to the point where he shouldn't die, but Medieval 2 generals are fickle. As we've learnt in this campaign previously, if you know, you know. Another bloody unit of Lokeren bodyguard. If not for them, they would really have nothing. Right, just get into melee and give Dane a hand, because with you in there, like, they're not brilliant in melee, honestly, the Blacklocks, but it should be enough to the point where they're surrounded, their melee defense is compromised. Whew, I thought that was my general for a second then. But it's not, it's theirs, so one of their armies should be fixing to... This is a real mess here in the late game. They haven't earned this at all either. Their front line has fallen apart, and then they've just tried to pull through, and like, they're going to lose. It's just how much they can be a pain in my arse as possible. Yeah, just hunt them down all over the field. That unit of Iron Guard can go that way, that unit of King's Shields can go over there. Aralad Dragon Riders. Victory still seems certain for them, which is kind of strange, to be honest, but you know, whatever works for them. When the Iron Fist Hammers arrive, let's see how they feel then. Now they're just going to try and run away with their archers as well, which is a sure sign that things are going quite well. After them, after that other unit, actually you keep going after them. Catapult crew will just keep safe because they're not going to be assisting too much in melee. Their defeat seems certain. I should bloody well hope so. We've had to throw our Blacklocks under the bus, but it's better than losing Dane. Yeah, they're trying to leave now. Oricani are more easily replaceable, as I've said. So we should be good. Man, it's really embarrassing if you end up getting caught by dwarves. Okay, a fairly stressful battle, and this will slow our progress somewhat in terms of getting ready to march into Mordor, but I wasn't actually aware that Rhûn still had a force as strong as this in their south. I thought they only had that one town that was that strong. Right. Iron Fist Hammers. Now we can start doing things properly. Ooh. Actually, yeah, you go over that way. Go after those Candish hunters now that they're broken. Hunt them down. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's not fine, but Sons of the Fallen will get over there with them as well. Iron Guard still doing the business. Dane himself is still at the back, so that's fine. That means the Sons of the Fallen will take the brunt of this, and we will of course regenerate them next turn. Or at least start regenerating them next turn. Good. But yeah, like I said, this has really been like a really decisive moment for the late game. This was pretty much, I think, the last moment where things could have gone horribly wrong for us, as far as the campaign goes. There's the Arulad. What is going on over there? Candish hunters? What's left then? Is it just... No, it's not them. There must be something left, otherwise the battle would be over. Surprised actually at how well the Durin's Guard did on the front line. They didn't lose many. Like just a little over 10 on that unit there, and that was it. Hugely impressive performance. So they're off in the distance, doing their thing. Bullying the Candish hunters, which we will continue to do because we want to make sure as many of these troops are gone as possible, because we will be pushing forward onto the settlement next turn. No, we want to continue. Running down going to be a little bit more important on this occasion, I think, because a lot of their units did end up routing after all. Come on. You can do it, I believe in you. Just one more, and then there's another group that I can send you after as well, although they've probably gotten too far away at this point. Yes, they have. Oh well. We'll see if that's enough to kill off both. Just a little over half of our army gone, but that was a lot of enemy units. Catapult did well, Iron Guard did brilliantly. Dragon Slayers absolutely dominant on the front line, as you would expect. Yeah, brilliant. Dragon Slayers probably the single best unit we can make. I mean, Hammers of Gundabad would probably beg to differ with that, but you know me, I do like my solid shielded units. In that respect, I'm very well catered for in Dwarven rosters. Erebor have got the most shock infantry-esque focus, though, to them. Only in mining and building have we surpassed the old days. Those would have been frustrating battles to do on stream. Having to pay attention to the chat on a screen halfway across the room, as well as the battles themselves. That worked out well enough, though. Reasonably happy with that. Right, yeah, execute them all. Oh, that was all of them gone, actually, I think. So we should just be able to walk into that town and take it. No, we can't, but I think we should be able to assault it immediately and just auto-resolve. Oh yeah, 18 dudes managed to flee back to the town. So that is another runic territory that we now hold, and the road to Mordor lies open. Yeah, we need to exterminate the populace, unfortunately, as evil an act as that may be, because this is a very Easterling heavy hold. So, do we have an armory in this town? We don't, so we will get one. This is actually very useful to have these reinforcements right here, because this army is now very heavily battered and bruised. Right. How best to proceed? Well, we're going to need reinforcements down here, but a second wave is going to be on the way with the Ring Bearer anyway. It's just a case of when he actually deigns to arrive, which is still going to be a fairly long trek at the moment. He's got more Blacklocks with him as well, actually, which is quite good. Trait increase, Dane and Infantry Master. Surprised he didn't have that already. Rhûn are fleeing for the hills. Resistance is futile. And that's pretty much it. We've already moved this dwarf down here, haven't we? Yes, because we need to move with him next turn. But recruitment, Axguard of Erebor, that's the only place we can recruit them after all, so would definitely be useful. Elite units only really at this point in time are what I'm interested in. Maybe some, if we can recruit a bulk of King's units all at once, I might do that as well. Let's go for a unit of Blacklocks here. So I'll go for some Iron Fist Hammers as well. Makes sense if we're in the east, if we're going to be campaigning with a lot of Oricani. Still can't upgrade this place, but Rhubar, actually it was Elgaia, wasn't it? Or Elgaia, that we were going to be using to recruit what we can, but we need culture for that first and foremost. Dane's son is here as well, Thorin Stonehelm. I am pretty tempted to already bring all of these units down, to be honest with you. Well, actually, no, we've still got enough. We'll combine that unit into a single one so we've got more space to actually fit things in. Outside of that, though, it's a prosperous settlement we've already got for ourselves, so that's nice. The Dorwinian navy. I'm pretty sure Dorwinian hold that island. That should be a famous battle. I was going to say that definitely should be a famous battle. What a fight that was. Right, so I think actually with that, oh my, how have Angmar still got all of that? Oh, I guess they still have. These territories over here. Wow, that's really poor from the Northern Dunedain and from the High Elves if they've allowed Angmar to come back from the mess they were in. The doomstack spawned and they didn't have any of their heartland. That there is now an Ered Luin territory, so yeah, I guess it must have been. This makes me a little bit nervous about Mount Graham, honestly. I think these two can be brought over here. Khan Doom is actually remarkably safe at this point, so we could probably get away with sending across a few units from there. Bit of a pittance though it may be. I mean, it's potentially really awkward actually, because the Anduin are probably going to end up losing Goblin Town in the face of that. I hope they don't. That army there, if they turn around and man Goblin Town with it, should be enough for them to hold on. They've got some decent units in there. I mean, the units themselves are fairly average, but they're all fairly healthy. Hopefully that'll be enough, because I really don't want to have to turn around now that I've got this army down here ready to strike at the true threat, which is Isengard. Angmar at this point are nothing but a remnant of their former selves. But with that in mind, it may very well be worth getting ready. I mean, that's a lot of units that are going to be on the way out. Just a single unit to recruit single turn to recruit a bunch of Iron Hills Mattocks, which would be nice, just as a bunch of cheap units. Okay, we'll leave it at that for the moment for them. And then we'll have a decent little force. We don't have another general that we can use for them. Maybe we can use... I mean, Yulstone is not that prosperous, if we're being honest. Maybe we can make it so. But maybe we can use this guy here to potentially guard against a continued Angmar threat. So Angmar and Rhûn, while I think we have delivered the decisive blows against them, especially Rhûn, because we have uncovered their hidden strength and largely thwarted it. But both of them, it wasn't as if that... I thought that was the last thing that Angmar had, that one doomstack, but apparently not. Apparently they are still alive. Still kicking. But I think we can... yeah, so we might still fight Angmar, and we might have an opportunity to retake Goblin Town, Brodor's Pass, because... you know, it was our territory. I'm a little bit peeved that the Anduin, considering all the help we've given them, swooped in to take it, considering I want to unify the mountains. But if they do end up losing it, I suppose we will have to double back with an army that's actually decent, so we can take them down quickly, and then maybe we can get reinforcements there a little bit more readily. Okay, we'll get some units into Rakyaburg, get them ready to move out, and then next turn we'll have a bunch more to put in there. Nothing really interesting there, but yeah, so that's where we're going to save it and leave off for now. So continuing, really, it's the slow but steady push when it comes to the ring script. It's not as if you can beat them in one fell swoop. We're taking the long way. It's going to take quite a while for Ringbearer Door to get all the way to Mount Doom, but by the time he does, hopefully the road will be completely open. I mean, Rhûn will have been pushed aside. It'll be interesting to see what we come up against next, because I think there is a town out here, but I don't know whether Khand or Mordor will hold it. My money would be on Mordor if they're at war with Khand, but we shall see. I know that I've already done this, but I'm a little bit paranoid about this sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, pre-records, it's a little bit different because there's obviously no viewer interaction like there can be in a stream, and I'm going to be aiming for sort of more 2-hour episodes when I do pre-records rather than 3, because 3 is a little bit long for a single pre-record. I think YouTube doesn't really like that. I'm already pushing at it with 2, to be honest, but we'll see. It's really just to get this series back underway, to be honest with you, and finish it off, because it's a campaign that's gone very well in and of itself, but technical difficulties have plagued it a little bit. But yeah, I hope you don't mind too much that this has moved over to a pre-record style. Hopefully we can get back to streaming at some point, but like I said, I'm not really sure how that's going to develop. There's a lot of moving parts with regards to that. Based on the things that cause it, I think I could still do the channel updates by stream, because they're very low impact on the network by the looks of things. So chances are the next stream will actually probably be a channel update at some point, when I sort of am aware of what's going to be happening and I can really lay out a detailed timetable of what's going to be happening this year. But more information on that when I post it up on the YouTube community section. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you will join me for whatever is next.